And so going forward, there are statistics and modeling that say that Ukraine will need an additional 8.6 million workers by 2032. And that's why it's so important to take action, both short-term measures and long-term measures. Hi, I'm Romina Bandura, Senior Fellow with the Project on Prosperity and Development at CSIS. And I'm here to talk about my recent white paper, Ukraine's Future Rests on Its People, Strengthening Ukraine's Workforce and Human Capital. Like in any society, the most important asset of a country are its people. And for Ukraine's current and future development, expanding and strengthening the human capital is essential. Due to the war and negative demographic trends that Ukraine was experiencing before the war, the country is going to be facing a very difficult workforce situation now and in the future, and this affects business operations and threatens the country's future reconstruction and growth prospects. The government of Ukraine, working with the international community and relevant stakeholders, will have to develop and implement a comprehensive human capital strategy to address current and future workforce needs, which will require a combination of short-term and long-term actions that seek to expand the country's talent pool, which includes women, veterans, persons with disabilities, and older workers. As you know, since the war began, a large share of Ukraine's workforce has emigrated or relocated within the country, or they have enlisted in the army, and many, unfortunately, have been a casualty of the violence and died. In addition, there are unpredictable changes to the conscription and mobilization of men, which also compresses the labor supply. And so, added to that, even before the war, Ukraine had a very challenging demographic scenario. And so going forward, there are statistics and modeling that say that Ukraine will need an additional 8.6 million workers by 2032. And that's why it's so important to take action, both short-term measures and long-term measures. One is to reform the labor code because it has very archaic provisions that really stifle labor force participation. Second, there are ways that companies and business associations could offer more onboarding and integrate veterans into the labor force and into their companies. And then, we also say that not all jobs require a university degree. And so there's a big shortage of things like, manufacturing labor, truck drivers. Those things require quick training, and that's something that, Ukraine could be doing with international partners. And then in the longer run, Ukraine will need to probably tackle its vocational training infrastructure, also design an immigration policy to attract Ukrainians back to the country and also attract people from different nationalities to work in Ukraine. There has to be increases in mental health investments. That's a big issue for the population due to the war. Infrastructure. Unfortunately, the war has created a lot of disabilities, and Ukraine does not have the spaces that are welcoming to this group of people. The integration of women into the labor force, what is called the care economy, that's not developed in Ukraine, and it's going to take it's not a quick fix. So those are some of our ideas. To read the full white paper, Ukraine Future Rests on Its People, Strengthening Ukraine's Workforce and Human Capital, please visit us at csis.org.